Devo Brown with Breakfast Television in Canada. Chris, Ben, what's up, guys? How you doing?
What's up, Devo? You have a name in common with a band that I almost used because it was popular in the era of the movie.
Soundtrack was fire. Would you just added to it, you know?
It would have added to it, but you know what happens is they charge you for those songs. Devo has very distinct, like, had that synth in that. You put you right in the spot, and actually it's on my little Spotify playlist for the movie.
My name's Sonny Vaccaro. I'm with Nike.
Do you typically make it a habit of showing up at people's front doors unannounced?
I don't like to take no for an answer.
Oh man, here we go.
MJ, it's more than just him, the person, for this film, the way you told it. I mean, you made a choice not to show, and I put that in air quotes, his face for that reason. Why does it work, and how does this movie kind of go beyond just Michael, the guy?
At least it works better than trying to show his face and everybody being like, but that's not Michael Jordan, so now I don't care. Because I think that's what would happen. And it would also kind of bring down to earth the greatness that people felt and remember and project and bring with them when they watch the movie. And yeah, it is not supposed to be like, this is exactly how every point of the deal was made. It's an inspirational story. It's inspired by these events.
You can't really expect the audience to accept somebody playing Michael Jordan. Like, he's just, everybody knows what he looks like, who he is. He's so iconic. And we're sort of speaking about him all the way through the film. So he is sort of omnipresent. I'm sure a lot of it also has to do with how impactful it is when you do actually see him in this archival footage.
I think if you tried to cast an actor as MJ, I think you'd just completely take everyone out of the movie. I mean, he's too famous, and we've just seen him too. He's just too intertwined with our lived experience. It made it about everybody around him, and he's always the guy, and just in the other room, and that mythology is just, you know, because he is a mythic figure, you could just kind of played into that. And then, which allows us to, at the end of the movie, show those real clips, which we're all very familiar with.
4 has been a tough year. Our sales are down, our growth is down.
Sonny, I brought you in here to grow the basketball business.
Seeing the tracksuits, the Converse All-Star, the Air Jordan guest release, the music. What was it for you that was quintessential in the 80s that you were like, man, this was me?
The 80s was the best, man. It was at the height of creativity. You had the movie Purple Rain came out. You had Michael Thriller song and the mini movie came out. You had so many things. Michael Jordan was part of that phenomenon and pop culture and all that, man. And buying the Jordans, I had to save up for them. You know, I worked for my dad's company, and I put my money under my mattress, and I would hope it would still be there, you know, when I got home.
You saved up for the shoes. I saved up to get the poster. That's where I was at in life at that point.
Okay,
just to get the poster.
Yeah.
Probably the video games. That was big for me. Both the kind of the ones on the TV at home, but also the stand-up arcade games. There's a couple of the handheld ones that the camera flashes across in this film. I was a big video game fan.
A pair of Fila sneakers that was red. You had to have 2 different colors. You had to have the red and the white, or the red and the blue, and you switch them, and you could wear either or. It was even the way that we took pictures back in the day, where you pose like this, you know what I mean? The linoleum that you bring because you're putting out because you're about to break dance. It's the big radios.
I had the Michael Jackson Thriller jacket.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Man.
I was super into Michael Jackson. I had the glove. I was really into Michael Jackson. I had the moves. Not quite as good as Michael Jackson, but I had.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Love a deep dive on that.
Yeah.
I got it.
I found him. Who's that? Jesus? Can't afford it.
I'm willing to bet my career on one guy.
Ben, Sonny Vaccaro, of course, risked it all, man. He believed in Michael and what this would be going forward. Any point in your career, or maybe it was even this, that you're like, listen, I believe in something so much that I'm willing to lay it all on the line to get this project or this role or whatever done?
You know, I had a dip in my life. I had some movies come out, didn't work, weren't cool. All of a sudden, I wasn't all that cool. I was like, damn, no one's laughing at my jokes anymore. Maybe I'm not that funny. I had been successful young, and I had wanted to direct, and I knew basically like, well, once I direct this movie, if this thing doesn't work, that's gonna kind of, you know, that might be that. And that was very scary. I don't know that I had a choice. A risk implies a bet that you're going to wager, whereas I was kind of like, well, I'm already all in, so let's see what cards I get.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like my whole career is an exercise in that, and I think anybody who goes into this business is doing that, really. But for Ben and I, it was definitely Good Will Hunting. That was the boulder we tried to push up the mountain, and you know, we started from being the only two people who believed in it to like a small group around us believed in it, and eventually, you know, we got it financed and made and changed our lives. But that was a real act of, you know, of will to get that one across the finish line.
I felt at that time the kind of pressure that you're talking about, which was sort of all or nothing. You got a name for it?
Air Jordan.
Maybe it'll grow on me.
Jordan, look, the most lucrative, recognizable brand out there. Why is Ben the right guy to take on this story and bring it to us?
Oh man, you know, Ben, I'm learning every day. This guy's a genius. he understands stuff. He's the type of guy you around him, you're gonna learn something. It has so many different elements in its financial freedom. Michael Jordan was one of the first athletes that owned a piece of a company, a shoe. Everybody followed that, and that's a big thing. It inspires a whole generation when you can see a man can do whatever he wants to do, whenever he wants to do it. You know, Ben tapped into that. He tapped into the relationship between him and his mother that nobody knew about.
You know how this ends. You know that Jordan, they signed the deal. You know people are still buying Nikes. It exploded. But you're still watching the movie. You're rooting it on. You're at the edge of your seat. Jason was saying it plays like an action movie. You're pumped up.
And yeah, it is not supposed to be like this is exactly how every point of the deal was made. It's an inspirational story. It's inspired by these events. Jordan is, I believe, the greatest example of this, but could be emblematic of a lot of people who've come along and moved people and inspired them.
Guys, thank you so much for your time, man. That's awesome. Appreciate that.
Thanks,
Ben.
man.
You got to treat yourself to a purple Porsche now, man. That's what's going to happen next.